The case which I have brought today is about a mastermind psycho killer and a con artist who went on a killing spree in the 19th century. He executed his plans so cleverly that no one ever suspected him. Even the police was unaware about his dark deeds. He got a building constructed specially for the purpose of executing people, and it was nearly impossible for his victim to escape from that building. It was so strategically built that not even the construction company knew about its structure. This building included several secret passages, rooms, and traps, which led people eventually name it the Murder Castle. This incident will make you doubt and question everyone around you, especially the nicest people. So, this is the true case of H.H. Holmes. Although he is popularly known as H.H. Holmes, but his actual name was Herman Webster Mudgett. Mudgett was born on 16th May 1861 in Gilmanton, New Hampshire in an average family. His father, Levi Horton Mudgett, was mainly a farmer, but sometimes he also worked as a trader and a house painter, and his mother was a housewife. His father indulged in excessive drinking and would mistreat his family, often starving the kids and forcing them to isolation. He was frequently subjected to bullying by other students because he was good in academics. And one such incident changed the course of his life completely, after which he turned into an emotionless monster. He was forced by his classmates to stand in front of a skeleton in order to scare him. At first, he was terrified completely, but later he found that his fear was gone. In fact, he became more obsessed with death. After this event, he began dissecting animals for fun. On 4th July 1878, he married his first wife Clara Loring, who helped him to educate. And I said first wife because later on he went on to marrying 3 more women. He enrolled in the University of Vermont in 1879 and later transferred to University of Michigan's Department of Medicine and Surgery, where along with Professor William James, he indulged in grave robbing to fraud with insurance companies. His wife Clara and son Robert went to Hampshire again, while Mudgett moved to Chicago in August 1886. Here, he changed his name to H.H. Holmes, which became so popular that till this day most people know him with this name. In the same year, he married Martha Belknap in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and later they had 3 children, being still married to Clara. He started working as a clerk in the drugstore of Elizabeth Holton at 63rd Street of Eaglewood District, Chicago. It is said that later he bought her store, but no one exactly knows that whether he actually bought it or killed Elizabeth. Whatever. Now comes the year 1892, which can be marked as the beginning of his serious crimes. On the opposite corner of the same street, he got a massive 3-storied building constructed, which was later named the Murder Castle because of the terrifying deeds that took place inside it. To give you a brief understanding of the structure, it was more than 150 meters long and 50 meters wide, huge and ugly building. The first floor was divided in stores, including a drugstore of Holmes himself, while the third floor consisted of apartments which Holmes would rent to visitors. The second floor included the horror chambers, where he would execute his crimes. This building had a basement as well. It is claimed that Murder Castle had secret torture chambers, trapdoors, gas chambers, and a basement crematorium. Some says that the rooms were constructed like a maze, and it was almost impossible to escape this building. Holmes had planned everything so smartly that even the construction company didn't know much about the actual structure of the building. He first went on to one company and began the construction of the building. Then he hired another company and continued the construction further. In this way, he got several companies involved in the construction of Murder Castle. Therefore, no one exactly knows its actual structure. The greatest swindle that he did in this period was the furnishing of the castle. He ordered a massive lot of furniture, crockery, mattresses, hardware, and got it delivered at the building. The unpaid company sent one of its workers to get the money from Holmes. To his surprise, there was not a single item which they had delivered. It seemed as if the building had swallowed it. To know about the furniture, the company bribed the janitor who worked there. They were completely shocked when the janitor told about the location where Holmes hid the items. Holmes kept all the furniture in one room, removed the door frame, bricked up the door, and papered the wall again. These swindles became one of the reasons for his downfall. But the murder of Benjamin Freelon Pitzel was the one that led him towards his own execution. He was a 38-year-old carpenter with criminal past record and was also considered Holmes' right hand in his crimes. In July 1894, Holmes was arrested for the first time. While in the jail, he got an idea. He would take insurance on his name and will fake his death to claim the insurance money. He executed this idea after he got released from the jail, but failed as the company suspected him. Now he decided to implement the same idea with Pitzel. He convinced Pitzel for this plan. They would split the $10,000 of insurance money that they would get. The plan will take place in Philadelphia. Pitzel would be identified as an inventor named B.F. Perry. Pitzel thought that this was a very good plan, but little did he know about the real intentions of Holmes. And agreeing to his plan might be the worst mistake that he did. According to what Holmes said, Pitzel will fake his own death. But suspecting that this time also the plan might fail, Holmes did something very horrible. On 4th September 1894, Holmes knocked Pitzel unconscious using chloroform. And while he was still unconscious, he set his body on fire using benzene. He used Pitzel's dead, severely burned body to claim the insurance money, which he actually got. Now he went to Pitzel's wife, Carrie Elise Canning, and told her that Pitzel is still alive but hiding just to fake his death. He convinced her and got the custody of 3 of her 5 children. Frank Gear, who was the detective assigned for this case, discovered something horrible. He found the decomposed bodies of 2 girl child of Pitzel in the cellar of Toronto home of Holmes, whom he had killed. When the investigation continued, they went to his rented home in Indianapolis, where they found teeth and bones of the 3rd child in the chimney. This case is so complicated and so big that if I went on to explaining about more of his crimes, then this video will be at least 20 to 30 minutes long. But if you want a detailed video on this case, then let me know in the comments.